Okay, let's take a look at what is going on at the ASEA conference holding at the moment in Kigali, Rwanda. Let's get some perspectives as the ongoing 20th African Securities Exchanges Association annual conference in Kigali. Africa, like we all know, is not immune to the shocks and changes in the world economy that could help or hinder its efforts to speed up integration and bring down borders. Pabina Yinkiri is the head of research at Vertivo Capital Management Limited. He joins us from Lagos to take a look at what those attending that conference will be discussing at the 20th edition. Pabina, thank you so much for your time with us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
The theme of this year's annual ASEA conference and general meeting is the road to 2030. Making the African capital markets relevant to the real economy. What does this say about what African exchanges need to do by 2030?
Thanks for having me, Bolaji. It's important that African exchanges, if you understand the role of capital markets in any economy, you will understand why this is important to create sort of like a regional body to be able to address some of the issues affecting the African capital markets. Capital markets are a very important part of the economy in helping to make provision for long-term financing and to be able to build long-term capital formation and wealth generation. They play a very key role in the growth of any economy. So if African economies are to get their acts going, are to improve on recent growth and sustain recent growth that we've seen in the last couple of years, it's important that very strong capital markets form a base for which economic growth can pick up in the sub-region. So it's a very important gathering. I hope they're able to come out with very dedicated and targeted timelines that can help improve the overall African capital market outlook going straight into 2030.
Let's talk about the conference in terms of what it offers, in terms of opportunities to demonstrate how much can be achieved through integration of regional securities markets.
If you look at the African capital markets today, or the African stock exchanges, there is very little integration across the markets. In fact, I'll give you something interesting. The South African market is more integrated with the global financial markets than it is with the rest of Africa as a whole. So it goes to speak how underdeveloped African, the subcontinent is in terms of exchange integration. So it's a very important and vital role if African exchanges must begin to have a bigger voice in the overall global economy. If you look across many stock exchanges today, you will find that the depth of the market is very shallow. With the exception of South Africa, most African exchanges are less than 20% of their respective economies. So there is a need to further deepen and improve competitiveness as a region so we can attract the necessary capital flows that will require for long-term and sustainable growth in the sub-region.
Talking about harmonizing the capital markets, how can the various exchanges on the continent work towards achieving that?
Okay, for me, I'll think of it in two broad headlines. One, of course, is cross-listings across markets. That is one way markets can begin to integrate. If you look across board, there is very little cross-listings across the African Stock Exchange. If I just give an example, in the Nigerian stock market, you find that probably only two stocks are listed in other exchanges, and that would be ETI and Orlando, which is listed in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. ETI is listed across the West African sub-region. So it is important that we see cross-listings across markets to give investors a feel of how investment across Africa is, rather than say you're investing in one particular market or the other. The benefit of having cross listings and integration is that you're able to diversify risk. If you look at African exchanges today, they have very, very low liquidity. So if you can pull integration as a means of boosting liquidity within the sub-region, it can be more visible in the financial markets today. So that is one, and partly important in creating that cross listings is we need to see a greater share of intra-Africa trade within the sub-region. If you notice, trade within the sub-region is very, very little compared to how the region trades with the outside world. So if we begin to trade as a block within ourselves, it can improve the flow of capital from one market to another and enhance the overall integration. Now, the second angle I'd like to look at again is the angle of adopting common capital market policies. That in itself can ensure that there is smooth transmission from a regulatory perspective on how you can trade from one market to another.
Thank you so much, Pabina Yunkeri, Head of Research at Vertiva Capital Management. We'll go on a break now, and when Business Incorporated returns, we'll be taking you through our domestic fixed income market. Do stay with us.